Welcome back to another installment of the Westcott Hort. I decided to do a little something different here. I decided to actually put their pictures up on the screen. So I went on the good old Uncle Google and found a picture of them. Thought I'd put some faces to the names. I think a lot of people know the faces, and I think a lot of people in certain circles, or the ones I guess I would travel in, know who they are, know what they look like. But I'm going to go with another one tonight. I almost was going to end these after a few more videos, but I think there's just a lot here. So I'm going to be doing more. I'll be doing other things as well, but I'm going to be doing a little bit more of this. I think it's needed. I think the more of this out there, the more this is pushed, the more pushback against the angry modern Bible folks, the modern version onlyist, a little pushback here because since they are consistently on the attack, and if you have a King James Bible, they just want to attack and mock and make the little comic strips and stuff like that. And I think instead of retaliating with an anger and velocity and mocking and condescending tone that they use, I think we just need to use kindness, just pointing out these things. That's I'm looking for a better word than kindness, but that's what I got so far. Not all King James onlyist have the hatred or the for people as they do. We can differentiate between what their Bible is and what they're following and the errors in the person, but they are unable to do that. They put the person and the doctrines, they just say that person just as bad as the Bible they're reading. Well, that's not always true. There are people who are unfortunately led to a wrong version, in my opinion, but doesn't mean they're bad people. But sadly, the modern critical onlyists and the elitism that exists in modern scholarship, if you would like to call it that, it's very sad that they talk down to those who they feel are beneath them, which leads them not to be true brothers and sisters, and that's unfortunate. All right, we're gonna be in 418 tonight, so let's pull up 418. Let's pull this picture off and my mug up there, and then we'll put this on. All right, King James Version. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. So I'm not going to attack or going to the preach deliverance to the captives and different, but I will point out the fact it's gospel. What is the gospel? It's a very specific thing. Gospel is biblical. It's not over there. It's over there. It's a very specific thing. I want you to remember that. And we see brokenhearted here. Brokenhearted is important as well. He came to heal the brokenhearted. That's a big deal. But as we will see when we move to revised version 1881, in the Westcott Hort reads, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he anointed me to preach good tidings to the poor. He has sent me," oh, there's no brokenhearted, "to proclaim release." Instead of deliverance, we're going to move on from that. Proclaim release to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. Again, gospel is very specific. It's very biblical. Tidings is generic. Tidings could mean anything. It's a general term. I don't want general terms. I want something very specific when it comes to the Bible. Why would you not? And we also can see that apparently the other versions, they don't seem to. I was going to find them. I got just 9 Bibles over here, so I look down on them. There seems to be no brokenhearted to heal in the rest of these versions. I don't know why that's not important to some folks. Modern scholars are not at all entangled with the brokenhearted. They don't seem to care as much. Um, they'd like you to believe in a very general tidings. Just preach tidings, just some good stuff. They'll preach the gospel. Yeah, but Stephen, Mark 16:15 says it. Okay, then Luke can say it as well, because it did, and it does, as it should. All right, we move on to the Darby version. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach glad tidings to the poor. He has sent me to preach to captives deliverance, and to the blind sight, to send forth the crushed delivered. We know what's missing here. Again, now we have glad tidings instead of good tidings. They want to preach good tidings and glad tidings. Generic term. A preacher could explain that. They could, but the Bible already did. The King James explained what the good tidings were. It was the gospel. All right, American Standard Version, 1901. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he anointed me to preach good tidings to the poor. He had good tidings. He had sent me to proclaim good tidings to the poor. It's not just good tidings that they need the gospel. And he came to heal the brokenhearted. Again, forgotten, isn't it? He had sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. And then we go 1 year later, 1902, with the Emphasized Bible, still using the Westcott Hort. And again, we could see that there's little changes in here. Some don't find that to be a big deal. And if you don't find it to be a big deal, then why did you change it from the King James? Why not read the King James, since it's much more specific and to the point and less questions asked? The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to tell glad tidings unto the destitute. He hath sent me forth to proclaim. Again, just some nice stuff is not going to help the destitute and the poor. That's my problem with things like Catholic charities and things like that. There's sustenance for like an hour or two, which is beautiful, which is what they need, which is when people come off the street and they're destitute and they're in great need of things, you help them. But they need something far more that's going to help them longer, so they don't have to keep coming in for the duct tape to fix it every so often, because the duct tape falls off. Well, the gospel will help that. It's a permanent solution. What do we got now? Flex Seal? There you go. It's a permanent solution to last longer. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to tell glad tidings unto the destitute. He has sent me forth to proclaim to captives a release, and to the blind a recovering of sight, to send away the crushed with a release. Now we move on to the Revised Standard Version, 1946, still using Westcott Hort, obviously. And even when you use the Nestle-Aland, you're still using Westcott Hort. We all know that. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. You have oppressed people? What about the brokenhearted people? Good news. We can get the Good News Bible out there by the Catholics, and you're going to find a lot of things missing there as well. All right, moving into Bible in Basic English, 1949. The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because I am marked out by him to give good news to the poor. He has sent me to make well those who are brokenhearted, to say that the prisoners will be let go, and the blind will see, and to make the wounded free from their chains. Very broken English. They're very basic English putting together. I mean, at least they put brokenhearted there. I mean, they held on to that. That's good. Pretty happy with that. But apparently, gospel is kind of not a big deal again. New World Translation. JWs. Jehovah's Spirit is upon me because he anointed me to declare good news to the poor. He sent me forth to preach a release to the captives and a recovery of sight to the blind, to send the crushed ones away with release. I'm going to move on now to the Amplified Bible, 1965, using the 26th edition of the Nestle-Aland, Westcott Hort. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, the Messiah, in parentheses, because he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. What's the good news? It's the gospel. Oh, why did you just put the gospel? He has sent me to announce release, pardon, forgiveness to the captives, and recovery of sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed, downtrodden. Oh, sorry, parentheses, downtrodden, bruised, crushed by tragedy. That's a good one. I crushed by tragedy. That's a very good line. I like that. It's a pretty good line. Too bad it's not actually in the. But anyways, RSV Catholic version, 1965. Now, see, if you're doing a commentary and you're explaining something, I get if you want to do a commentary, but there shouldn't be a commentary within the Bible in the verses when the verses themselves originally were very self-explanatory. RSV Catholic version, 1965. WH Nestle-Aland, 26th edition. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. Common theme all the way through. Not common with the King James Bible, of course, just Westcott Hort. New American Bible, 1970, Nestle-Aland, WH, 26th edition. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to bring glad tidings to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free. Now we move on to the NIV, the 1976, the 1984, and the 2011. Using, of course, as their own researchers will tell you, the Nestle-Aland 26th edition, Tischendorf, Westcott. The Spirit of the Lord is on me because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free. Easy to read version, 1989. Again, Nestle-Aland 26th edition, WH. The Spirit of the Lord is on me. He has chosen me to tell good news to the poor. He sent me to tell prisoners that they are free and to tell the blind that they can see again. He sent me to free those who have been treated badly. Well, that was a good one. Listen, you've been treated kind of badly, so, you know. Revised English Bible, 1989, Nestle-Aland, 26th edition, W&H. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to declare liberty to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are bruised. Again, you see, we do these videos a lot, but it's the same theme all the way through. Matches WH. Doesn't match previous to that, but, you know. New Living Translation, 1996, Nestle-Aland, 20th edition, W&H. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. What's the good news? Gospel. Yeah, you should have said it. That's right. I said that earlier. I'm going to say it again. To the poor. He has sent me to proclaim the captives will be released, that the blind will see, that the oppressed will be set free. The ESV 2001, the English Standard Version, Nestle-Aland 20th edition, WH. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. I know one might ask me, or you might be asking yourself, or even watching this going, what's wrong with saying good news? Good news is a good thing. Yes, good news is the good thing. What is the good news? And you might answer right now and go, it's the gospel. Exactly. And the King James already said that. So why do we need to take that out? Legacy Standard Bible 2021. You got to understand modern scholars, and I tend to use them loosely now because As the years have gone by, you see that they are in it for their own gain. They're not concerned about. I hate to say the little people because I am the little people. I'm not. I'm not a scholar, but they look down upon anyone beneath them, as I said earlier. They check you by your credentials given to you by a facility or a university of some sort. They don't check you by your life. Are you living for God? Do you live the way you're supposed to? They're less concerned about your biblical living than they are as for your secular religious learning, which infiltrates them, and they hope to get you. Legacy standard, but the faster and the more they can get you out of the King James Bible and just out of scriptures and get more into commentary, critical text, and to take apart scripture, to treat it as just like it's Shakespeare, like it's just some Victorian book. It's a book instead of the holy words that it is. The Spirit of the Lord is upon, this is the Legacy Standard Bible 2021. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed. Well, we're going to end it there. Pretty quick and right to the point. Well, maybe we won't. Let's go all the way back up. Let's just end with this. We'll talk about this again real quick. The good news, these tidings, what is it? It's the gospel. And everyone will go, well, hello, it's a gospel. Yes, agreed. And it was in the King James Bible. There was no reason to delete it. And the brokenhearted. Why was that something you needed to take out? I don't know. It's amazing some of the words that they take out that they feel unnecessary. And yet, it's not they took out certain like simple words. The poor and the destitute. I can let it go. Whatever. But I mean, the gospel seems like a word that should stay. Just saying. All right. Thank you very much, by the way. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate each moment you guys give me in going through Westcott and Hort. And I'm thankful that you listen. Hey, some will disagree, and that's okay. I don't hate you for it. I'm not a modern scholar, so I'm not a modern Bible onlyist. So I don't go out mocking you, and I won't do that. So that's not my thing. My hope and my prayer is that people start to treat each other like brothers and sisters as they should, and not speak to each other in condescending ways. God didn't give us that type of spirit. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this recording. And again, God bless and have a beautiful evening. Till next time.